The one thing we have to keep in mind, and that I have to keep in mind, is that the experience is different one person to another. So, um, that's why it's important to kind of ask the next person because for them it might be completely different than my own. So, hello everyone. My name is Lisa, and this is Hearing Loss Pathfinder. Today I'm going to talk about my own personal experience of using a cochlear implant and my process and what do I hear exactly. Some people just kind of ask me, what do you hear? And I would say, it was a progression. At the beginning, I heard beeps in the static. So anytime someone spoke, I would hear beeps and sometimes static, depending on, I guess, the tone or how high they were speaking. So it was really weird for a while there. so so I just had to be patient and listen to the beeps and the static and hoping things would get better. So gradually I started hearing words here and there. And so in the static or through the beeps, I would hear a word like kitchen, or I would hear bedroom, or I would hear, TV, or, so I started trying to hold on to those words and just have my brain just, help me out a little bit in terms of what was being said. So I think that is one of the important processes in cochlear implants, because you have to practice and you have to be open to what your brain is bringing to you. And again, in another video I said, the brain will go grab a file of that sound or go grab a file of that person's voice and bring it to you gradually. So that's kind of like my example of how the process, started. So, and gradually that person's voice would start to clear up, and, that sound. I heard like sounds before I heard voices, and which is kind of odd because a cochlear implant, you got to remember that it is programmed for human voices, not necessarily sounds. But I heard like door closing, and I heard dishes being rattled, and I heard, somebody putting something on a table. I heard that before I heard voices. So I don't know if for my brain it was easier to translate that first. But I heard noises before I heard voices. So it was just a process. Then gradually people's voices, started clearing up little by little. I heard less static and I heard less beeps. And I would go back to the audiologist and they would tweak it a little bit and just, adjust the tones and the frequencies a little bit. I had an issue with one of the arrays, or part of the array. I was getting like I was feeling something that was electrocuting me. It really wasn't, but it felt like that, and it would cause some dizziness. So they had to shut off part of the array so that it wouldn't cause me that dizziness. There were certain frequencies that were really throwing me off. So they shut that one down and they opened a few others. So it really just depends on the person and what they hear, the sensitivity, all that kind of stuff, because we're all different. And yes, it was causing me some dizziness. If there were some high frequencies of certain kind, it would just throw me off and cause me balance issues. So the audiologist just really shut that one down really fast. So then that's just me, So it'll be different for you or for you or for you, that it just depends on what voices are part of our lives. I don't have many male voices, but male voices are usually easier for me to understand than female, and I'm surrounded by female voices day in and day out. So I have to work a little bit. It helps me to face the person, obviously. I only have my front microphones on. I know my audiologist would prefer that I would have both on, front and back, but it's just a little bit too overwhelming for me, so I just keep the front ones on. If someone speaks behind me, I'm just going to hear someone talking, but I'm not going to be able to understand them. And that's the disadvantage of just having the front microphones on. So, so people now have gotten used to coming to my side or to the front to speak to me, because then I can see them, and then the conversation is much clearer. If someone is too far away from me, and they call out my name, I probably won't hear it, just because I only have the front microphones on. And if I'm not facing them or facing the direction where the voice is coming from, I won't pick it up. Or I'll pick up a voice, but I won't understand it. So I won't pick up that they're calling my name. And I think people know that, so they come closer to me if they call out my name. And again, the side and the front is the best for me. People know that. So, and again, if somebody is talking behind me, I'll hear talking, I'll hear voices, but I won't understand what's being said. And it doesn't sound strange or anything. It's not enough power or reach for me to understand what they're saying. So, and I don't worry about it. I really don't. And again, I don't have both microphones on. I don't have them, all the power on, because it will overwhelm me a little bit. And I prefer to not be overwhelmed. Excuse me. I'm a morning froggy. So that the voices sound normal to me. Now they sound, after a while using the cochlear implant, I have I started with cochlear implants in 2006. This is 2024, so it's been a long time, and voices sound absolutely normal to me. They don't sound weird or anything like that. So they sound normal. My voice sounds a little strange, sounds a little, and maybe I do bring down the tone of my voice, but it sounds strange to me. My audiologist always says your voice sounds normal. You're talking normal, so don't worry. But yeah, my voice sounds strange. So I'm always asking my audiologist, how do I sound? She says, normal. We've been down this road. So, and when she's adjusting my implants and she turns them on, my voice sounds awful. So just focus on the outside sounds, don't focus on yours. So, well, I don't want to start talking weird. So you're not talking weird. You sound fine. So I think that's one of the things that you might, feel that your voice sounds a little weird. But I think you all, my voice is normal to you all. My voice to me sounds a little low or lower than it should be, but I just try to ignore it and just talk like I usually do. So, what else can I say? Do I hear the beeps and static now? No, absolutely not. The static is gone. The beeps are gone. So, and again, for me, I just use the front microphones to talk to people, and people usually know to be in front of me or to my side, not behind me, because I won't hear it. And I don't stress about sounds away from me or sounds that, So sometimes I have to say, what was that? Or who was laughing? Or, sometimes I have to ask. But on a normal day, it's a normal day, you know. I put them on and I just go for it, and I carry on conversations. I would say I'm hard of hearing with cochlear implants. I'm still hard of hearing, but just lightly. I mean, people do say to me, I would never guess you had cochlear implants because you're carrying on conversations just normal. So that's a good news for you. You know, those of you who are getting cochlear implants, that it's gonna sound pretty good. You know, after a while, you're gonna think, oh wow, this is great. So, and I had profound loss by the time, you know, because that was one of the rules back in the day, that you had to have profound loss. Now it's moderate to profound, so you all are lucky. Because we were trying not to destroy anybody's hearing, but if we know that the dying of the cochlea is just going to continue, then, you know, you don't have anything to lose, because it's just going to continue to die, and you're going to need to replace it with a cochlear implant. So does it feel strange? You know, the routine I have of recharging my batteries, all that kind of stuff. Well, not really. You know, it's like using hearing aids, where you need to make sure you're recharging your batteries, all that kind of stuff. You're recharging your hearing aids, or you're, you know, replacing them with other disposable batteries. So it just becomes part of your life, and I'm fine with it. What else can I say? Sometimes when I go to a forest or a hike or something, I have to focus a little bit, because the sounds are going to be farther away from me. So I have to take some time to focus in on the bird sounds or the wind, or, you know, so, and sometimes I have to open up, you know, both microphones to be able to hear really what's going on. So no, voices sound normal, and I feel fine. No dizziness, no balance issues. So that's my life with cochlear implants, and I'm hoping that your experiences are okay. I think that it's really important to practice when you first get your cochlear implant, and just let the sounds come. If something's bothering you or throwing you off or making you dizzy, let the audiologist know, and they'll adjust the arrays and the tones and frequencies, so that, you know, it doesn't throw you off. Because there's some sensitivity there. You're playing around with a nerve, and so you want to stimulate the nerve way back here, and you want to make sure you're not overwhelming the nerve, you know, because the nerve is going to send signals to your brain, and if it's too much at the beginning, then you just slow down. So remember, you're using the nerve back here, not the cochlea anymore, because that's not functioning. You're using an array. You're using a wire, and the sound needs to go through that wire to the nerve back here. And the nerve has a responsibility of sending the signals to your brain. And the brain is like, what? And I usually give the example of the brain going to look for that file, that sound or that voice that the brain knows, and it brings it back to you. And then you say, oh, yeah, that's Denise. Or, yeah, that's Patricia. Oh, yeah, I know that person. You know, so gradually you'll get used to it. And so I just use that image of a little file running around getting the different sounds for you to help you hear again, and just to let you know, okay, to reteach you, oh, this voice, oh, yeah, that sound. And so it's kind of fun to relearn. So that's my experience. That's my story. I'm kind of sticking to it. And do let your audiologist know if something bothers you, or voices are off, or, you know, because there's a lot of fine tuning that the audiologist can do. There's so many things that they can do with the cochlear implant. It's almost infinite. They just have, you know, from A to Z that they can do to help you hear better. So don't get discouraged. Take your time when you're learning. And again, if something sounds off or doesn't sound right, just let the audiologist know, and she'll help, or he will help fine tune, the array in the cochlear implant. So that's my story. I just wanted to share what I hear. But voices sound normal. My voice sounds weird. I don't know why, but it always will, I guess. But voices sound normal. Sounds of different kinds sound normal. Unless they're farther away from me, then I don't know exactly what it is. And I have to ask, what was that? Or did a door slam? Oh, no, it was this. It was a drawer, so I might miss what exactly it is. But there's people around me to let me know. And again, I would say I'm hard of hearing. I'm not hearing perfectly. You won't hear perfectly with a cochlear implant, but you will hear pretty darn good, pretty darn close to what it was back in the day when your hearing wasn't that bad. So if you have any questions in terms of exercises that are good to do, or how to let your audiologist, how to describe to your audiologist what you're hearing, what's irritating you, that's really important to make a note and bring it to your audiologist, because they wanna help you fine tune things so it sounds good to you, it sounds better, and you will reach a plateau in which that's it. These are the sounds that you hear, you function, and that plateau will be pretty darn good, pretty darn close to how you used to hear. So that's all I had. If you have any questions in terms of, again, we're all different, all of us. Our nerve is different, our brains are different, and we just have to be patient with the process. Again, when I got my first cochlear implant, it usually takes people about a month, to, get things adjusted, and then they hear pretty well. It took me 5 months, so I was just very different, very slow in the process, but, I say it's slow. My audiologist said it's not a race, and you're just going to pick up sounds when you do. We just have to wait and continue to fine tune. And then there are some people, mostly men, who, when they turn on their cochlear implant, they hear right away. And we don't know why. It just is. So they're very lucky. Some women, very few though, have that experience of their cochlear implant being turned on and they hear right away. So I think it's very few and far in between. But that's what it is. That's nature. That's how we're constructed. So, but yeah, if you have any questions, please feel free to write them down, or your experiences of learning how to hear again on your cochlear implant will be very different than mine, probably. So write those down, share them with people, because that's important for people to know, what the differences are and what were those experiences that people had. So take care. And what I want you to do with this, to subscribe, to like, to share, and to comment. Those are really important things to help this channel continue to be strong.